be running boat number 94 in the champ class, sponsored by Easy Little Boat Trailers. Ricky Garrett, number 65, champ class, sponsored Miller Beer and Sundance Marine. Phil Seabold, champ class, sponsors Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri, Budweiser Light, boat number 7. I'm Michael Roman from West Germany. I vote as number 84. I'm running for the Easy Loader team, and I will say thank you. John Hill from Cheltenham, England. Boat number 52, I run the BP to Gin and Mitsubishi Motors. My name is John Nichols. I race boat number 27, sponsored by Florence U. Marble and Sundance Racing. My name is Mike Seabold from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm running champ boat number 26, and my sponsor is Bud Light. Matt Wilson from Shifter, England, run boat number 55, sponsored by Octavian Motor Carrier. Randy Gore from Naples, Florida, driving boat number 60 in the champ boat class, sponsored by Sundance Racing and Bradley Aviation. Russ Thornton, Atlanta, boat number 29, sponsored by Texaco and owned by Wilford Gandy of New Orleans. Hi, Tom North from Newman, Wisconsin, driving champ boat number 38, sponsored by STM and Merton Marine Limited. My name is Derek Hornets from Naples, Florida, boat number 22 in the champ class, sponsored by Limited Incorporated. Jonathan Jones, United Kingdom, Wales, boat number 12, racing for Octavian Motor Carriers.
Well, you've heard them. Now you get to see them. They'll be in action next as we return to New Orleans for the start of today's exciting champ boat race. Now we're down to the important time just before the race as the boats will take their hot laps one at a time. The pole position belongs to Steve D'Souza. He'll have the B-line for that first and very important buoy. As you see the rest of them, Jonathan Jones, number 13, will start if someone else cannot. And Lee, what about the hot lap? What are they trying to accomplish right now?
Well, you really don't have to run a hot lap because the two-cycle engines, which these Mercury V6 outboards are, don't have to warm up the oil. They don't have to get warm, so you can really start them and go right away. What they do, though, is maybe they don't have a confidence in where their engine is at, so they want to get the right amount of fuel and shut it off at the right time to make sure that it starts and runs clean right away, because it is a race to the first corner. And nobody has a real advantage other than the inside lane is closer to the first turn on the inside. They start at the same distance away from the first turn.
Mike Seabold, we're told, is having some electrical problems, and now Lee will look at the officials. Very important to the safe running of today's race.
Well, they certainly are. First of all, Duke Waldrop is the race director. He's in charge of everything on the race course. Then Mike Tomlinson is the chief referee. The starter is Tom Stickle. The chief inspector is Harold Simberger. The chief scorer is Fay Waldrop. And the chief of rescue is Don McAfee.
And, of course, very important, the pole position on a course like this being so tight. The pole position is the one furthest away from us, and that is held by Steve D'Souza. And there's the flare, and we have 1 minute remaining before the actual start of today's race. And right now it's nail-biting time down there, Lee, and that pole position is so vital on a course like this.
Well, everybody's checking to see if everything's correct in their boat, and they're ready to go. The pole position, incidentally, is the inside lane, and they move out towards us. But there's 12 lanes going to the first turn. The only advantage of the pole position is having the inside. But he is the fastest qualifier, and that's Steve D'Souza.
And Steve was quoted as saying that quickness is more important than speed on this course. Quickness around those tight turns, with the backwash coming from the walls right back at you. We're now less than 30 seconds away from the start of the race, and some very important questions to be answered as the big champ boats roar away from the dock. Will everybody make it out? And then, will Jonathan Jones be able to race? He's the points leader coming into this finale of the season, but he may be left at the dock watching everybody else. We're just about ready.
Flag is up. Tom Stickle, official starter. National Powerboat Association.
got to the first buoy.
What a disappointment for Jonathan Jones. This is where he could beat us to win the championship, and he's sitting at the dock watching him come around turn 4.
This is his first. It looked like Mickey Garrett in second place coming around in front of us. And Bill Siebold in third in his Mercury-powered Seabold, boat number 7. Easy Motor team on top at this point. They had a great day here on Saturday between D'Souza and Michael Verner, and they picked right up where they left off.
D'Souza's really stretched out a lead. He's quite a way in front, right now.
Uh-oh, that's Bill Siebold. Bill Siebold has completely turned over. You saw the boat nearly come apart in the water. We don't see Bill right now, Lee. But that was certainly a violent turn. There he is in the water, and he was moving his arms and legs okay. It appears he's okay, but what a nasty spill early in the race.
Unbelievable. Siebold was coming down the backstretch, running downwind, actually, and what he did is he just locked into the corner and barrel rolled. He did a 360-degree barrel roll. The boat landed right side up, and he is moving, but what a violent flip.
The rescue team very important now at this point, as they will come out and check on his condition and get him to the rescue boat. It appears they'll get him in a little raft there, and then get him in there. And I bet it's been a while since Bill Siebold has been in the water in this situation.
I don't remember Siebold being in the water in the last 5 years. It's been quite a while for him. What they do, incidentally, is they actually shoot off a red flag and they stop the race. They don't, when somebody goes in the water, they don't run a yellow flag out and run under caution. They stop the race, and it's in the interest of safety. You can see they're loading Siebold onto the safety boat right now. He is sitting up. I'll bet he's angry right now.
Well, this is one time when you're glad to see a guy mad, because when Bill slammed down his gloves, it at least indicated to us that he was okay. But he was running third, and now he's out of the race as Siebold did a complete flip and rolled it. Here's another look at the barrel roll.
There's a replay. You can see that he went downwind. You can't see that, but when he came downwind, the boat drops a lot more violently into the water, and it actually drops the length of the sponson in the water, and he just hooked it as he went around the corner. And then what he did is he engulfed the right sponson. You can see right there he's sitting up on the right side, and it's all over there. The propeller comes out of the water, loses the bite, and he's in for some trouble.
Look how quickly he is coming out of the boat, and that's the way it's supposed to happen, Lee. He is supposed to be thrown clear, correct?
Well, that's correct. I don't know if he knows how it's supposed to happen. I've flipped under those circumstances, and I'll tell you right now, that is the most violent, quickest way to go into the water. There's no warning. It absolutely throws you out of the boat, and you don't really know what's happened. But what you hear is really eerie. You hear the engine break loose, or the propeller break loose of the water, and the engine speeds up, and you know you're in trouble.
Bill Siebold obviously in plenty of trouble, but now, okay, walking out under his own power, and that certainly is good news. In a moment, we'll go back to the dock. 50 laps still upcoming, and we'll have 11 boats restarting in just a moment. What a dramatic wreck it was for Bill Siebold just a few moments ago, but fortunately, physically, he is okay. Thus, the 11-boat restart. D'Souza, Verner, and Garrett, the top 3 spots at the pole. And now we have the same situation as before. 11 boats, and when they drop the white flag, it'll be starting time again. 50 laps still to come. Looks like everybody's awake cleanly. As we look at it from the other side, Lee, again, Steve D'Souza with that big lead out to the first turn.
D'Souza really has a lot of acceleration over the rest of the field. And he's using that. He said he had to set up for not so much top speed, but for acceleration. He's got a lot of quickness.
Mickey Garrett a little slow getting around that first turn. He's back to third or fourth place now, as he was up there in number 2 position, but not now.
You see how they radius the corner when they come in? And they actually come and they notch the sides of the boats a little bit that helps it slow down and set up for the corner. I think one of Siebold's problems earlier in his flip as he came in, he did a little bit too square in the corner.
Number 94, Steve D'Souza in his Mercury-powered Seabold for that Easy Motor and Holland Marine racing team out of Spokane, Washington. He is, and he's your leader right now. Boy, Lee, if they come around those turns, they are pulling some G's.
Well, there's a lot of force, and the problem is the helmet, the head wiggles back and forth, and it causes a lot of problem, a lot of stress on the driver, and there's a concern for it.
Driver's head bobbing up and down, back and forth. The sides of that boat, look at it giving with the forces. Things get pretty physical in there. And Steve Michael talked earlier to European driver Tony Williams about a new safety collar he is developing.
The problem with roll collars as they stand at the moment is that they are inhibitive. You can't move, you can't see. You must be able to move your head in a race and see what's coming up behind you. If you have a stiff one, then it's no good. So drivers don't want to wear them as they stand. My idea is to use our CO2 cylinders you have over here too, and some of your life jackets, which will fire, which will be attached to a point of the boat. You get in the boat and you connect the lanyard, which is attached to the CO2 cylinder to your boat. If you leave the boat, by the time you have hit the water, and within I think about 0.2 of a second, this thing will have completely inflated, and the whole of the area beneath the crash hat, it will support the crash hat at the back, it will come round the side of the face, the chin, and hold you completely stationary. So the only bits of you that will be flailing or unencumbered will be your arms and your legs. The leg is usually a pretty strong part of the anatomy. There haven't been a lot of leg injuries except those that are caught in the boat when the boat's gone. And the arms, maybe we can think about some way of, again, an inflated jacket, whipping the arms to the side. Anyway, I'm hoping this thing will be ready at the end of the year, and we shall then submit it to the UIM, the world governing body of the sport, and obviously we'll send one over to the States. And we hope that if the thing works, and it's only going to be about $30 worth, it isn't going to be a great deal of money, that it'll be mandatory for all drivers to feel that it'll save 40% of the serious injuries that we have in the sport at the moment if we protect the neck and the head. So that's the idea behind it all.
Tony Williams, who drives the Mercury-powered Seabold himself. Battle for 4th and 5th right now. 27 John Nichols and 65 Mickey Garrett doing battle. This is a long haul, Lee.
Well, it certainly is. Now, the strategy really sets in. What's going to happen with D'Souza is that he's got to be extremely careful. He knows he has the speed, and he's got to watch out for other traffic. As he moves into the race, he's going to start lapping the back markers, and that's where it really gets interesting.
So right now it's Steve D'Souza, number 94 out of Spokane, Washington, in that Mercury-powered Seabold in control. Here we come with more in just a moment. Good crowd gathered here today for the action. As we're at South Shore Harbor, Lake Pontchartrain, New Orleans. We're still getting reports that Mike Seabold is having some engine difficulties. His father, of course, Bill, out of the race at this time. So a tough day so far for the Seabold family.
I talked to Mike earlier, and what he told me was when he adjusts his trim hanging onto the steering wheel, he get an electrical shock right through his body. He's obviously having a tough time driving the boat.
Steve D'Souza, number 94, the man you just saw there in the lead a moment ago. And Lee, now the leaders are starting to lap the field.
Well, the race will tighten up quite a bit because D'Souza now is lapping the field. He's running into the back markers, and the race will get extremely tight.
I think we've got a boat out on the front straightaway. It's not in our screen right now, but there it is in the water, and the boat as well in big trouble. In fact, the boat is just about destroyed. Unable to tell which boat it is right now. There's the driver in the water. It looks like marble on the side. Florentine marble. That's John Nichols, number 27, out of Boynton Beach, Florida. His Mercury-powered Vulture, and obviously he is hurt. He was signaling for the rescue crews, and that boat is just about demolished.
Well, it was a violent accident. It was running down towards turn 1, and all of a sudden he came up over backwards, and there's boat all over the race course. There's pieces all over the place.
Our primary concern, the driver. They'll try to keep the boat from sinking, but the first priority is the driver. They've got the raft out there to get him set up to get into the rescue boat. And you can hear now the droning of the engines has eased somewhat as the race has been stopped. Earlier it was Bill Seabold, and now it's John Nichols. As we have evidently some sort of injury problem here, because John looks nowhere near as lively as Bill was when he came out of the water.
What happens when you go in the water, you get completely disoriented and you're looking to find your composure.
Well, we'll be looking to find some of that debris all over the race course right now. Lee, did the wind have an effect on this accident taking place out there on the course?
Well, it definitely did. What happened was, opposed to Seabold's flip, Seabold was coming downwind. John was heading into the wind, and the boat got loose, extremely loose, which means the front end came off the water, and he actually took off into the wind and landed up upside down in the water.
Nichols is conscious, emergency personnel standing by, so it looks like a trip to the hospital is coming up for John Nichols out of Florida. When the race was stopped, Nichols was in the 4th position behind Wilson, Werner, and D'Souza. So we will have a restart back at the dock on the 9th lap. And Lee, we've just been told that the race total of laps has been cut down to 30. So as they are clearing the debris, we will be back for a second restart. The race cut down to 30 laps. You'll see them in just a moment. Time for another restart. There's Bill Seabold's Bud Light boat, the Mercury-powered Seabold, being taken out of the water. Really doesn't look that worse for wear. He took that big flip and landed upright, but it's a different story, Lee, for the Mercury-powered Vulture of John Nichols. That boat was just about demolished on that severe flip of his.
Well, when he went over, when he hit, the right side came off of the boat, completely destroyed the right side. Seabold's boat, incidentally, when I was down there after his wreck, his boat has a hole punched in the deck, and the boat was sitting dead in the water, and they actually could have saved the boat from sinking, but it filled up in that hole. No damage other than that.
They're regrouping for the second restart. D'Souza still in the pole position, but I've got to ask you at this point, Lee, Steve D'Souza, the leader, having to restart over and over again, that's got to be affecting him mentally at this point in the race.
It's really frustrating. I've been there before, and you really ask yourself, how many times can I make a perfect start? I mean, it's like hitting a golf ball as an example. How many times can you hit a perfect shot? He's had 2 perfect starts. He's sitting again. He's going to be a little bit frustrated. There's Seabold again working on his electrical problems.
Mike Seabold in that Mercury-powered Seabold, boat number 26.
Now, one thing that Michael did do is he borrowed father's prop, his propeller, which maybe will help him out a little bit, but he's got to solve the electrical problems before he can do anything else. We'll see if he did that.
We're about 20 seconds away, or less, from the start, the restart, our second restart. Again, more debris from the boat of Nichols being taken out of the water. And Nichols is on his way to the hospital, we're told, with a neck brace on. Here we go. Everybody away from the dock in good fashion.
D'Souza can hit that perfect shot. He's off again. Boy, he is really getting away from the crowd quickly. He's terrific acceleration. You can see him coming around the corner. There's Seabold on the outside. That's interesting. He's been running the back of the pack. You can see him running up the outside on the backstretch. So maybe he has his problem solved.
Well, how do you get up that fast if you started from the number 7 position?
Well, again, you're the same distance from the corner when you start off, and he got a good shot and he took off. He sat on the outside. Now, remember, there's not as many boats out there, so even though there's only 2 out, it makes it a lot less congested.
There he is. He's been a winner throughout this competition so far. Steve D'Souza in that Mercury-powered Seabold of the Easy Loader team. You see Mike Seabold in number 2 position, and number 3 is Mickey Garrett out of Lakeland, Florida. He's in his Mercury-powered Burgess, the Miller American Racing team.
See, D'Souza's going through some interesting phases right now. He's probably saying to himself, I should have won the race. And he really should have, but there's been so many stoppages because of the accident. Now he's sitting out there looking back and Seabold's right on him.
Well, you see those vibrations in the boat of D'Souza? Right now, unofficially, a 3-second lead over number 26, Mike Seabold, who is 26 years of age, the junior member of the Bud Light team out of St. Louis. Looks like he's running pretty smoothly right now, Lee.
Well, he's going to have to push real hard to catch D'Souza. D'Souza's running real well. As much attention as we've given to Seabold, he's still running well, D'Souza is.
So it's D'Souza, Seabold, Garrett, and Mark Wilson in the top 4 right now. There was Seabold going by. There's a good look at Mickey Garrett coming right at you and then making that hairpin turn. And Mark Wilson right behind him. So it's a 4-man race right now. And you know the rough water a factor today. With that in mind, here's Steve Michaels with today's High Performance Corner.
Thanks, Bob. You can see from the slow-motion footage that when in full acceleration, the boats are riding on air and are completely out of the water. The gear cases are really taking a beating. Let's take a look at the unique design of these units from the shop where they are produced. This particular gear case is a top-of-the-line model designed especially for racing. Called a Super Speedmaster 6, this unit takes up to 300 horsepower and uses 2 drive shafts and 2 prop gears which enable the torpedo diameter to be very small, thus helping these boats to achieve their 110-mile-an-hour speeds. This particular gear case has the water pickup in front of the torpedo right on the bottom and a crescent-shaped leading edge which makes the gear case handle better in water. A heavy skeg is needed to handle the immense loads that are produced by the boats with their cornering speeds. It takes 6 hours to build the complete gear case, and the total cost of the project is $2,000 per unit, a real piece of art that is essential for today's racing. Back to you, Bob.
Steve D'Souza's lead over Mike Seabold, now down to a slim 2 seconds. There's a good look at number 55, Mark Wilson, out of England in his Mercury-powered Hodges, sponsored by the Arcadian Racing Team. And again, Seabold chasing D'Souza.
Seabold's pushing extremely hard right now. What'll happen in a few minutes now, they'll start running into the back markers, and that's when the race between D'Souza and Seabold will really start. You've got to get through the traffic. You've got to get through it safe. You can't make any mistakes. You really have to watch your fellow competitors out there because they can cut you off and all of a sudden you're in trouble.
So in other words, this is where the real racing starts.
This is where it starts right now. And it'll be interesting. There's a lot of strategy. It's better actually to be behind the leader in this position when you're running into traffic. And the reason is that you can follow him. If you're running approximately the same speed, you can force him into traffic, you can force him into mistakes, and you can capitalize on it by going around the jam that he gets in.
You saw 22 Eric Reinertsen out of Naples, Florida there a moment ago in his Mercury-powered Seabold. Right now it is a very intense 2-boat race, at least up front, with D'Souza just a couple of seconds advantage over Seabold, and you see D'Souza having to go outside there a little bit because of the boat he's lapping still on the inside course, and Seabold right on his tail.
And you could see what I meant a minute ago is that D'Souza went on the outside of the boat that he was passing, which was a back marker, and Seabold saw that and he immediately moved to the inside and took up the inside lane, and he picked up time on him. And it's no fault to D'Souza. He's got to be extremely careful. He's got to follow the other boats without getting in any trouble.
You can see how close they are. It's only a half-second difference now on the 15th lap with Steve D'Souza leading. And Michael Werner, who was running pretty well earlier, is not in the top 4 now. As we check the standings, D'Souza, Seabold, Garrett, and Wilson the top 4. And we'll be back with more racing action from New Orleans in just a moment. We've got about 9 laps to go, and right now there's the pursuer, Mike Seabold, and the pursuee is Steve D'Souza, who's led all the way. Right now about a 2.05-second difference, Lee Sutter, between those two boats.
Seabold is really pushing hard. His boat is completely loose off the water. And I've noticed watching D'Souza that his boat is looking a little bit flat right now. I don't think he's as crisp as he was earlier in the race. Now that might be his boat or it might be him physically.
Number 55, Mark Wilson, is now in 3rd place. He is running in a Mercury-powered Hodges. And now here's Steve Michael with results from SST and Mod VPs.
Thanks, Bob. At action earlier today in the Mod VP class, Rusty Campbell of Augusta, Georgia, and St. Paul, Minnesota's Chris Bush staged their own thrill show with daredevil tactics and terrifying spin-outs. Campbell, a rookie in the high-powered class, made 2-time world champion Bush work for his victory as the two went head-to-head in the 30-lap final. Bush spun out 3 times in the same deadly corner, but managed to recover and stave off the Georgians for the win. The SST 140 class looked like a destruction derby as several of the 2.4-liter engine, 200-horsepower boats succumbed to the rough water conditions. Drivers had problems all afternoon looking to take a tight line around the 3/4-mile circuit. Buoys were speared and boats broke apart. Harley Wilson of Kissimmee, Florida, in his Mercury-powered Lee Craft hull charged into the lead. Harley drove like he was the only one on the course, leaving the real contest to Terry Leatherby of Rockford, Illinois, and Modesto, California's Jim McKay.
McKay streaked to a 3-second finish over Leatherby, but a heartbreaking disqualification at engine inspection time gave Leatherby the second-place crown. Back to you, Bob.
We're down the final 3 laps. There's Mickey Garrett from the Miller American Racing Team in fourth. Right now a 2-man battle for first. And Mike Seabold has just passed Steve D'Souza right there, Lee Sutter. It is Seabold now in the lead for the first time.
Well, Seabold finally got by him on the inside, and he's running away from him right now. And D'Souza looks a little bit flat. He's not crisp, as I said before.
And remember, Mike Seabold started from the number 7 position in one of those restarts a time ago, and he made up some of that space in a hurry and is now your leader in the last couple of laps. Mike's been racing since the age of 13, and he, of course, the son of Bill Seabold, who we lost in the first couple of laps of this race, but Bill on the sidelines cheering for his son right now. There's D'Souza, number 2.
Well, he's having trouble right now. You can see he's bouncing coming out of the corners, and he wasn't doing that earlier in the race. And Michael has got a full head of steam.
What a remarkable story. He wrecked at St. Louis, couldn't walk for a couple of days, and now he is right here in New Orleans, about to win this one and maybe win the year's championship in the Champ Boat class.
Well, if he finishes first, which it looks like he'll do, it's going to be real dramatic.
Problems for Steve D'Souza. Number 94 is having some problems, and evidently he is out of the race right now. There he is.
You're looking at D'Souza getting out of his boat. What he actually did is just came into the same corner that Bill Seabold barrel rolled in and stuffed the boat right in, went underwater. It was unbelievable. It was a violent stuff.
And here's your winner, Mike Seabold, out of St. Louis. He was second to Madison, second to Miami, now a winner here. And they're tending to Steve D'Souza right now, whose boat is sinking a bit, and they will help him out. And here's a replay of what happened, Lee.
Well, you can see he's coming downwind again, same turn that Seabold went over in, and he just hooks right around the corner. The front of the boat drops in, and he just plows underneath the water violently.
So a disappointing end to the race for Steve D'Souza, who was in control for so long through all those restarts. But this one belongs to this man, Mike Seabold from St. Louis. We'll hear from the champion in just a moment.